GM Crypto News House here. It is March 1st, and before I get into the video, please read the description below on the take of the showing of the tokens. So let's talk about the price action of the majors here. So Bitcoin is grinding higher ever since it tapped 78K, and I think in the short term that we will continue to grind higher in the coming days. So we had the other options over the weekend that Bitcoin would either go down to retest the lows again, or it's going to go sideways or chop higher, and to chop higher to around 90K, which is a previous liquidation zone. 91K looks to be more probable right now. So Bitcoin is going to go higher in the next few days at the highest probability, especially since it hasn't broken down the 83K supports level, I would say. So at this point, we got to realize that most likely when it hits 90K, it's just going to do a fuck you candle back down to the lows here, like 80. I would suppose like 80K. I don't know, 70K will be possible at this point, but pretty much 90K, a lot of people are going to be euphoric again, most likely, and everyone's just going to be like, oh my god, we're so back. But then that's just going to be the new candle back to the low 80s again. That might happen, I don't know when, maybe in the next few weeks, so maybe early March, maybe that will happen. But just be prepared for that. But then after that retest of this wick down here, most likely that is when the up only rally is going to continue for March and Bitcoin. And when that happens, all the altcoins will send as well. Solana looking a little bit better, and if Bitcoin goes to 90, then most likely 163, and then Ethereum looks the worst out of these, but this should be somehow bottomed soon. So that's what it looks like for Bitcoin. So basically a little bit of short-term upside is very possible on this, and the liquidation heat map does support this, where it wants to go a little higher to 87 and then perhaps go even past that to its old liquidation zone of 90K, I would say. So let's look at the price action. Okay, it just pulled up, but yep, look here, 90K is the next liquidation area, and then a candle downwards most likely is going to happen to retest the lows. But let's look at the price action of the alts. So looking at AI, pretty much everything is going sideways here. There's some things going a little bit up from the lows, like Realis, I guess, but it's pretty much down only, so it had to have some sort of relax rally. But a lot of tokens pretty much sideways. Base AI, a lot of sideways as well. If we look at perhaps even virtuals, yeah, still pretty much going sideways. But this is important because it shows that everything is getting bottom, even AI. And if we look at memes, well, memes, some of them might need a little bit more time to bottom on base. I think AI, since it's the first one to go down, then most likely it's also going to be the one of the first to come back up. So this bottoming effect will most likely result in maybe some sort of a curve, like maybe this or something like that, right? And let's look at the other memes. So a lot of memes have been down only for a while, but these are starting to bottom really well. So even Popcat starting to form a bottom, and maybe we can see the up only rally, hopefully. Most likely, I don't know if it's gonna go to $5 like everyone's saying. If I were to guess, maybe something like that. But even that's like a 3-4x from those lows here, right? So I think that's what's gonna happen for these, and that's gonna send a lot of the beta cats as well. So I'll say right now, best options. So base memes, some of them are okay as well. I think base memes will come back, but pretty much the meme hypothesis is coming back once again ever since they seem to be catching some bids again relative to AI. I personally still think AI is a better narrative and a better sector and a better risk reward return than memes, because memes have been so wrecked, the narrative, at least sentiment wise, that we need them to go sideways a little more. But I think that the old blue chip memes like Popcats and shit, they will be coming back pretty soon. But also AI is also a very good sector. So it depends on what you think is the best. I personally am more biased to AI because I think it's a better narrative than memes and it has a high, more risk return. But that is just my bias. Nothing really too crazy to say, but a little bit of expected upside. But let's look at the tweets. Not many tweets to talk about today. But Jensen Huang famously stated, AI agents are a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. Virtuals, Eliza iOS, ARC, and others are at the early stages. Speculation was fueled this ecosystem, but teams are laying the groundwork for the crypto AI agent future. So yeah, look at virtuals in this accumulation zone here. It's pinned down only from the bottom, and now it's forming this floor. Very good to see. Even AI16Z, another infra on Solana, it's also starting to bottom. And ARC, which, okay, I don't think, okay, ARC is in here, but also forming this accumulation. And you look at this, ARC is, I think it's the best chart out of all of them, because it hasn't really gone up that much or gone down that much. So it just shows some strength, while the virtuals and AI6Z have a lot more, you know, speculative value towards them. So I personally like ARC out of all of these. The chart even supports this thesis where it shows a bit more of a cumulative chart, which usually ends up with a higher breakout when the time comes. So I think this was going to be one of the bigger movers when the AI system comes back, when Bitcoin finally starts grinding higher. But let's look at this one. This guy is losing or long 92 million of ETH and 26 million of BTC on 50x. So liquidation, the price drops 1.5%. Holy fuck, that's the most decent whale I've ever seen. LMAO. So there's this whale that apparently seems to be doing leverage on Hyperliquid, and he is 50x leverage on Ethereum, $91 million, Bitcoin 26 million. And I don't know what this is, honestly, but it's just interesting to see that some of these guys are super going gig along. And perhaps, you know how smart money works with these super rich dudes, where usually when a whale is moving one way, most likely the fish follows. And maybe this long will be some sort of a hypothesis that, oh, maybe we're going to go higher and we're going to retest the upper bands, which it seems to be the case. Honestly, I think that he is going to be right on this, but it is very, very, very risky, of course, because he loses $100 million if the price wicks even a little bit lower. So yeah, don't be as risk taking as this guy, even though most likely the probabilities are stacking in our favor to go higher in the markets. But even still, something like this is just absolutely insane. I mean, if he's a billionaire, then okay, sure, but like, what the fuck? So that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video. So currently I'm biased for a little bit more short-term upside in the market to like 90K, the previous liquidation zone. And especially since how the weekend is starting to grind higher instead, which means that we might see some upside, some green on the alts. I don't know if the alts will go up that much because they're still bottoming here. And most likely it's going to be a fake out of the accumulation zone before Bitcoin sends a fuck you candle back to 80K. So if you're trying to buy any of these shit, alts, Bitcoin, majors, well, if you're a trader, then you could try to do this momentum trading. But for DCAing, like investing wise, it's probably best to just keep your hands on yourself and look for the lower prices when they come and be patient for them, because we have to retest this week here, especially in these markets. We've always seen these wicks being retested, like even in this last liquidation level, 91K. It was a slow bleed downwards, and then we retested it here, and then now it went lower. But even this liquidation zone, or just retest, it has to retest it at some point. So just be conscious of that. And when it does retest 90K or so, then it's also a good opportunity to de-risk on some tokens so that you can buy a little bit lower. But yeah, I'm still pretty biased that we will have to retest these lows here. So you could try to play that. Obviously, that doesn't mean it will happen and that I'm going to be a predictor of the future, but it has a very high probability based off how the market structure is currently. But that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video, and I'll see you guys.